10 favourite horror sequels. Hello and welcome to another video. This week I want to do a kind of a particular topic, which is sequels and horror sequels in particular. These are my 10 favourite. Your mileage may vary. 10. Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Now, I know this is a controversial one. In fact, I'm sure most of this list will probably be controversial ones, but who cares? I like Halloween 5. I'm not saying it's not flawed, but I like it. Love Donald Pleasance, love Daniel Harris. It's a shame we lose Ellie Cornell so early in it, but I still find this an awful lot of fun. And certainly, for all its flaws, the last half hour has some of the best set pieces in the entire franchise. The chase through the cornfields, the laundry chute sequence. I think Halloween 5 is immensely rewatchable and immensely entertaining and immensely atmospheric. And I'll put it above any Halloween movie made in the 21st century any day of the week. 9. Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Now, this is the one, of course, where any attempt at the seriousness of the earlier ones, sometimes undeserved seriousness, it has to be said, is basically thrown out the window, and we're playing for irony. Jason is not an unkillable mutant who's unkillable for no apparent reason. He's a full-on, flat-out horror movie zombie, complete with full-on hammer horror resurrection scene at the beginning of the film. It has its tongue firmly in its cheek throughout. I've forgotten the name of the actress. Jennifer Cook, that's it, isn't it? It's got Jennifer Cook in it, who I remember from the V series earlier on in the 80s. Tom Matthews from Return of the Living Dead, of course. I think Friday 6 is a whole heap of fun. It's a welcome and necessary change for the series at this point, in my opinion. 8. The Satanic Rites of Dracula. This is one of the installments in the Hammer Horror Christopher Lee Peter Cushing Dracula franchise. This one being a literal direct sequel to the previous film, Dracula AD 1972. It is set in the 70s, and it's Peter Cushing as Van Helsing, but it's the grandson or the great grandson of the original Van Helsing from the original period movies. It's all very complicated. This was actually the first of the Hammer Dracula movies that I saw, and I fell in love with it. And it's still my favourite of the series, and it's definitely one of my favourite sequels. It's written by Don Houghton, who wrote a couple of John Pertwee Doctor Who stories in the 70s, and it's very much got that kind of Doctor Who 70s Pertwee unit era feel, with Van Helsing as the Doctor and Dracula almost being the master in a sense. Here, coming up with an elaborate mixing with the degenerate upper class in the government, etc. How very true to life. In order to basically wipe out humanity with a new form of the bubonic plague. And there's vampires. I really like the Satanic Rites of Dracula. I don't care if you don't. 7. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Now, this one's a bit of an oddity, of course, in that, in one sense, it's not really a sequel at all, because the story has absolutely nothing to do with the other movies. But it's still Halloween 3, dude. It wasn't released as Season of the Witch. It was released as Halloween 3. So it's technically a sequel. So I'm keeping it in this list. I love Halloween 3. It's a wonderfully atmospheric movie. It's got a wonderfully bonkers plot that mixes science and black magic to create a near apocalyptic kind of conclusion. Got a great villain in Dan O'Hurley from RoboCop and Twin Peaks as well. I really, 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 really like Halloween 3. 6, I think we're on now. 6. Um, 6, I would go with Friday the 13th, Part 2. Now, this is actually my favourite of the Friday movies, I think. Used to be 6, but 2 has kind of grown up. Of like the earlier serious movies, this is by far my favourite. I think this is the one that actually really genuinely works. I th- it's it's much more. I don't know. It's just much more atmospheric and much more genuinely scary and edge of the seat than a lot of them. It's got a great final girl in Ginny. The actress's name escapes me at the moment. She was also in April Fool's Day, which is another classic movie. I just think I find this one the most of the like the first 4 or 5. I find this one the most the strongest and the creepiest and the most genuinely like a good standalone horror movie in its own right. I certainly think it's better than the original, in my opinion. There you go. 5. Halloween 2. I love Halloween 2. It's not without its flaws. I think the main problem with Halloween 2 is it really does kind of waste Jamie Lee Curtis for the most part because she's kind of in bed or drugged up for the majority of the movie. But it's all so entertaining and well done and grisly and suspenseful, and Donald Pleasance is on great form, and Michael Myers is at his most apparently indestructible. I know you've probably gathered it by now. I love the Halloween movies, at least up to and including a certain one that's higher on this list. Um, I don't like the 21st century ones, but I love the original movie, and I love most of the original sequels. I think they were far, far, far better than anything we've had since, but that's just me. Um, 4. Scream 4. Of all the sequels, I think Scream 4 is by far the strongest. I never quite got the adulation of Scream 2. The others are mostly okay, apart from 5, which was god awful. But I think Scream 4 is by far the strongest. I'm just tremendously fond of it. It's the only one I didn't see in the cinema. I think for some reason it didn't go to my local. I don't know why not. But it didn't go to my local, and I don't know where it did go to. So it was the only one that I kind of saw on DVD or whatever from the video shop after the fact. The rest of them, even the most recent, I saw at the cinema. This one I didn't. I also I wasn't really expecting that much because I thought bringing it back after over a decade was a really bad idea, and I ended up being thoroughly blown away by how good it was, by how strong it is. I think it's the scariest of the sequels. I kind of wish they just stopped with Scream 4, even though I don't mind Scream 6. But I really think Scream 4 nails it on every level and is the best outside of the original film. Another controversial opinion. Again, I don't care. 3. Halloween H2O. Again, I'm sure this will be unpopular in some sections. Some really dislike this movie because it's not like the other sequels. It's very much in the vein of the post-Scream late 90s teen slasher craze. And I like that craze, so tough. I really enjoy this one. I think Curtis is great in it. She's certainly better in this than she was in the god-awful fucking modern ones we had recently from Bumhouse. Um, the private school setting's great. The build-up is great. The atmosphere is great. The support cast is great. I really, really enjoy this one. I think it works on all levels. And if they had any sense, they should have just ended it with this. I'm sorry. This is the perfect ending to the Halloween series in my book, and I've never seen anything since that makes me contradict that feeling. Sorry. Complain if you want to. 2. Fright Night Part 2. I love Fright Night Part 2. This is one that has somewhat fallen by the wayside. Mainly, I think, because it's just been so difficult to get hold of because of various rights issues. I love Fright Night Part 2. Again, I'm the king of unpopular opinions. I like it more than the first one, to be honest with you. I just think it's such a fun movie, such a great movie, such a great 80s movie. It's stylish, it's funny, it's sexy. You'll have to forgive me, but Julie Carmen and Tracy Lind do it for me rather more than Marcy Darcy, and no offence, mate, Chris Sarandon. They just do. I think they're both great in this. Roddy McDowell's in the film earlier as well. It doesn't take half an hour to get him into the movie. I love Fright Night Part 2. I heard a few years ago that the original director was trying to do a sequel that would ignore this one, and it's like, why? What's the matter with you? Are you ill? I mean, it's 40 years since they were going to bring back Chris Sarandon. It's like, that guy's got to be in his fucking 70s, if not his 80s. What is the matter with you? You are not going to make a sequel that is better than Fright Night Part 2. Bite me. Pun intended. Number 1. I think my favourite horror sequel, and again my bias is showing, I'm sure, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. I think this is my favourite of all the Halloween sequels. This is the one that just works on all levels. Some have noted it's basically the original, just kind of amped up to the 11. That's not a bad thing, especially when it's as well done as this one is. I got the 4K of this a while back, the 4K Blu-ray, mainly because I was incredibly disappointed by the original Blu-ray. Not so much because of the picture, but because of the sound mix, which was absolute crap. It was one of those where the sound and where the music, etc., is much louder than the dialogue. So you're having to turn the bloody thing up to hear the dialogue, and then the music comes in, and you're like frantically grabbing the remote to turn it down because it's so bloody loud. It's like, you know. Fortunately, the 4K sound mix was fine, and it looked they did look absolutely superb. I love this movie. It's so atmospheric. Donald Pleasance is on absolutely top form. I love Ellie Cornell. I love Danielle Harris. I saw this about 1994. It was in my first year, basically, of renting horror movies myself, because past the point of being 18. Ironically, I already knew who Danielle Harris was because she'd been in Roseanne the year before in 93. I picked this up alongside Five, and I loved them both at the time. While I can see now that Halloween 5 certainly has its issues, I still think Halloween 4 is an absolute killer sequel. It's one of my it is not just my favorite Halloween sequel. I think this is my favorite horror sequel of all time. Anyway, thanks for listening. Bye for now. Comment.